Hello everyone, it's Major Park. Today I'd like to talk about a very interesting topic. And not only is it an interesting topic, but I think it kind of covers a very important something that you have to know as an officer and also as for an enlisted member. It's called fraternization. It's under Uniform Code of Military Justice 134. This can be very tricky, or it can be very confusing if you don't know the regulation properly. Obviously, as a service member, we do have officers and we do have enlisted service members. The fraternization officers, you cannot date anyone who's an enlisted member. Whereas for an enlisted member, you cannot have a marriage with officers. I don't want to say myth, but those are just assumptions. Some cases it's true. I'm not saying that it's totally wrong information. Let me just kind of give you a general definition of what is a fraternization. Military case suggests that wrongful fraternization is more easily described than defined. Usually some criminal offense was involved when officers were tried for this offense. Whatever the nature of the relationship, here, this is the key right here, relationship. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about, just improper relationship. I think of it as a fraternization is a gateway of having proper relationship. It is the start point that's gonna lead you to the having improper relationship. Each case was clearly decided on its own merits with a searching examination of surrounding circumstances rather than focusing on the act itself. Rule defining fraternization is found in the United States VS 14466. Because of many situations which might arise, it will be practical impossibility to lay down a measuring rod of particularities to determine in advance what acts are prejudicial to good order and discipline and what are not. As we have said, the surrounding circumstances have more to do with making the act prejudicial than the act itself in many cases. Suffice to say then that each case must be determined to its own merits, where it is shown that the acts and circumstances are such as lead to reasonably prudent person experiencing problems of military leadership to conclude that the good order and discipline of the armed forces has been produced by compromising of innocent persons' respect for the integrity and gentlemanly obligation of an officer that has been in offense under Article 134. It's hard to say which action is a improper relationship. Having clearly, lay out what is allowed and what is not allowed, it can be difficult, right? Because relationship is not just 1 + 1 = 2. It can be complex. Relationship can be something it's a human interaction. But I think it's more focusing on the result of that action. Because of the improper relationship, this person received more favoritism, right? Because of this improper relationship, we cannot accomplish the mission because of the morale misconduct. Because of this improper relationship, it's impacting our mission of the unit. It's more focusing on because of that wrongful action, because of the wrongful relationship, it's causing a negative impact to the unit. That's where it's leading to. Each offense will treat it differently. Obviously, you gotta look at the whole circumstances, right? That's where it's getting to. But once again, the key takeaway here is looking to that relationship between officer and enlisted member. That's what that fraternization comes into. Because of the individuals involved with this improper relationship, right, under the command policy, what are the options that you have available for you as a commander? You've got to counsel them, right? That party was involved and pursue other non-punitive measures, reassignment or written reprimands or adverse OER, bar to enlistment, relief, administrative elimination. It can be something that's minor issue, or it can go all the way up to major issue. These are some of those options for commanders. Fraternization resulted a serious issue. Never know. Or it's a minor issue, it was a mistake. You cannot really truly draw a fine line. You're going to be out of the army. It's not like that, okay? Every case will be different. Improper relationship can be related to sexual activity, homosexual misconduct, or drugs, other illegal activities, excessive socializing. I think this is a really good one. For example, simply as heroin farewell, right? One of your enlisted members leaving the organization, and you guys decide to have some dining out. That's fine. Even if they're enlisted members working for you underneath your command, of course you could still go out there and have a casual dinner. That's fine. If you cross that line, like for example here, First Lieutenant show partially preferential treatment to senior airmen, associate the airman on first name basis at work during numerous social contexts, including drinking, gambling, repeatedly allowed the same airman to stay in his apartment, and on one occasion drank with same airman under circumstances whether accused of designated drunk, and the airman was designated driver. No sexual aspect alleged were proven. Further, does not require sexual conduct. So it doesn't always involve sexual conduct. What I'm trying to say is that, I don't think that the first lieutenant wanted to do something that's against a regulation, but he was starting to cross the line by linking games and start to do gambling with them. What's going to happen if you start to become buddy or friend with your subordinate? One of your soldier start to call you by your first name, and you start to go out and you go to clubs and bars with him. What's going to happen? Now you start to show favoritism to that soldier, and he or she is not going to listen to you, right? You just desecrated your unit. There's no military bands anymore. Other soldiers are going to see that. You're going to start demoralizing their characters, and motivation, is going to go down, trickle down effect all the way down to the lowest level. You didn't mean to do that. Maybe you like this airman so much that you wanted to take care of him. Even though there was no sexual favoritism or any physical relationship involved, you just crossed the line. Especially excessive socializing, it can be very confusing. What if that person was your friend before you joined the service? You might think that, wait, hey, he's my soldier. There's no way I'm going to start drinking with him. Why is it so hard? You might say that I don't know why they're doing it, but it can become complex when you think about from everyone's different perspective. Maybe you get drunk and you made one stupid mistake. Don't put yourself into a situation where maybe you might fall into the fraternization category. I just want to talk about some of those other relationships between soldiers in different grades here. Soldiers different grades must be cognizant that their actions do not create actual, clearly predictable perception on the familiarity between the officer and enlisted soldier, or between NCO and junior enlisted soldier. Example, familiarity between soldiers may become undue, can include repeated visits to bars, nightclubs, eating establishments, or homes between an officer and enlisted soldier, or NCO or a junior enlisted soldier, except for social gathering. That involves entire unit, office, or work section. All relations between soldiers of different grades are pretty if they compromise or appear compromise, integrated supervisory authority or chain of command, cause actual perceived partially unfairness, appear to involve improper use of grade or rank or position of personal gain, or we perceive to be exploitative or coercive in nature, creating actual or clearly predictable adverse impact on discipline, authority, morale, ability of the command to accomplish its mission. Certain types of personal relations between officers and enlisted soldiers, NCO and junior enlisted soldiers are prohibited. Prohibited relations include the following: ongoing business relations between officers and enlisted personnel, NCO and junior enlisted soldiers. The prohibition does not apply landlord-tenant relationship or one-time transactions such as sale of an automobile, house, but does not apply to borrowing or lending money, commercial solicitations, and other types of ongoing financial business relations between NCOs and junior enlisted soldiers that exist at the time the policy becomes effective and that were authorized under previously existing rules and regulations. Our exam, provided individuals are not in the same unit or chain of command, and the relationship does not meet criteria listed under 4-14 Bravo 1 through 5. In this case, the Army National Guard, U.S.Army Reserve personnel, this provision does not apply relations to exist due to their civilian application and employment. So now this is Army National Guard and Army Reserve. When you're part-time soldier, this does not apply to you. Here we're talking about the full-time the members. Dating and share living accommodations other than those directed by operational requirements, and intimate or sexual relations between officers, enlisted personnel, or NCO and junior enlisted soldiers. This prohibition does not apply to the following: marriage between officer and enlisted members, right? Marriage between officer and enlisted members, or NCO and junior enlisted soldiers. However, when evidence of fraternization between officer and enlisted member of NCO and junior officer and enlisted soldiers prior to their marriage exists, their marriage does not preclude appropriate command action based on to the prior fraternization. Commanders have a wide range of response available, including counseling, reprimand, in order to cease the relationship prior to marriage, reassignment, administrative actions or adverse action. Commanders must carefully consider all of the facts, circumstances in reaching this position that is appropriate. Generally, commanders should take the minimum action necessary to ensure the needs of good order discipline are satisfied. When officer and enlisted relationship, right? When it's in a female and male relationship, dating or relationships like that. When somebody asks me, as an officer, can you marry enlisted members? Yes, it's possible, but if you are within the same chain of command and you happen to be a supervisor of that soldier, and then you start to date while you're serving the same unit, that you can cause a negative impact, and those relationships are prohibited. Now, but if you dated that soldier before he or she became a service member, and you already have a relationship with him or her, and you got married, that's fine. Obviously that you already have a relationship before you join the service. Having you two in the same command creates a negative atmosphere. I'm going to move one of you to a different unit. And that's up to commander's discretion. Today's conclusion: read the regulation 600-20 and understand it. I'm not trying to promote this is a relationship that you should take. I'm not trying to give you advice when it comes to relationship. Know your regulation, know your rights, so that you can have a proper relationship. And also that you're not limiting yourself for a relationship because, maybe I'm gonna divorce with him or her because we have improper relationship. I'm not saying that. You gotta look at the whole circumstance situation. Even if it's allowed, and then your maybe commander thinks that that's gonna bring adverse effect, again, you talk to commander, and then without having an adverse effect on you or her, you can request to move your spouse to some other unit. It can also comes down to commander's discretion as well. As long as it doesn't impact mission, negative impact to the unit, I think here is having a relationship with the officer and NCO is fine. Now again, within the chain of command, there can be a problem. The fraternization list goes on. So any situation where you have a within your chain of command, right? Not just the unit too, because you can be recruiter versus applicants, or it can be instructor versus trainee. You cannot date one of your trainee, and you're the drill instructor, and you're gonna start dating one of the trainee. That's a proper relationship. It can be complex when you knew this person before you joined the service. Yes, it can be confusing in the beginning, but what I'm trying to say here is that as long as you don't bring any adverse effect to the command and negative impact to the unit, it was fine. But at the same time, you are not bringing adverse effect because of commander discretion, because you start to date within your chain of command. Even if you did anything wrong, that can be a factor to fall into fraternization. Don't put yourself in a situation where you might get investigated because of that reason. But that doesn't mean, oh my God, I'm joining the military. This is so rough. This is tough. Why do I have to go through this? Where's my freedom? All that. There's some individuals think like that, but we are in military, and you have to follow the regulations. And also, I'm not saying that everything is totally prohibited. Like I was telling you earlier, right? Know your rights, know your left and right limits, and then just make sure it doesn't bring any negative impact to the unit. If you happen to be flying semi command and then somehow you got married, request to transfer someone on the unit without causing any problems. There's always a way to resolve the issue. As long as you're being proactive, show you care about the unit, and you can resolve the issue in the beginning. Don't wait until you escalate the issue. Know that you are in a relationship with that person. Always talk to your commanders. Request for counseling, request for talk to them. Do not have an improper relationship, right? If it's prohibited, it's prohibited, okay? Because you're an officer, you're not gonna take advantage of that soldier or an NCO because you're in a higher position and you start to have this improper relationship. Now you just put yourself in a serious problem, right? Thank you guys for watching my video. It was Major Park. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for always liking my video, subscribe my video. I truly appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.